Okay, you guys are absolutely not going to believe this one today. We may or may not have just been threatened to be hit by an old man's walker. He threatened to use it on us, so we need to find a safe place. We need to sit down. We need to talk about this one. Come on. You know, when it comes to poker, I think we all have the same things in mind. We want those big pots, those big bluffs, those high stakes to all come true for us so we can live the dream as well. And I think the poker industry really gets it wrong. They're focused on the top down, selling all of that glory to you instead of really focusing on what matters, which is the fundamentals, the hand histories that come up all the time, the concepts that we need to master as low live stakes players so that we can climb the ranks and achieve our dreams. Hi, I'm Chapadong, and down here at Poorly Played Poker, we're going to study those concepts for you, flip the industry on its head, and we're going to talk about what's going to get you up that ladder. So, whether you are on a borrowed 25 bucks from your younger brother like I am from 20 years ago, or you are just now finding out about this great game of poker, let's dive in and let's talk about those concepts today, and let's see where we go. All right, welcome into the studio. Welcome into my comfy couch where I like to sit down and tell stories about poorly played poker hands, and this is one that I think that you might like today. We're going to call this man Walker because he uses a walker. He's an older man, kind of an old man passive, and to kind of just visualize and paint the picture, he talks in kind of a low, rough, grumbly kind of voice where he gets a little bit angry and cantankerous at all the young kids at the table these days and all that kind of stuff, right? And he, a week or so ago, got into it with a little Asian guy at the table who nobody in the poker room likes because this guy, he sits down and he sits on the min stack and he tries to double it up and leave. And if he doesn't, he goes and plays Baccarat and he comes back, tries to double it up again, and he hits and runs. And it's just, he always leaves the table and puts a few chips on there and tries to come back. And they end up having to kick him off the table. And on top of it all, he's obnoxious. So when he sits down at the table, he's all, oh, you know, play right, or you know, play like that, or you're supposed to raise there, or you're not supposed to, I'm supposed to get you there, or you got lucky against me this time, you know, that type of stuff. And with, you know, Asian accent, I don't mind the guy because he's a punter. He drops money into the table like you wouldn't believe it. I got one over on him a couple of weeks ago with Pocket Kings. I raised, he got all in, I called him. And, you know, I mean, I held up, which was great, and took 100, 230 bucks off of him or something like that. But the old man was to my right that day. Old man Walker was to my right that day. And he was getting into it with the Asian guy. The Asian guy was, oh, you know, playwright, or you know, very good, you know, or whatever. And the man was like, you need to shut up. You need to just shut up. I was like, wow, this old dude. Usually old guys are kind of cheery and kind of happy to be there. They're retired. They don't really care about the money. This guy's getting ticked. And I'm like, okay, the dealer has to step in and say, whoa, whoa, we don't want any trouble here. We don't want any insults. We don't want anything, you know, going back. I don't want to have to call the floor over here. He's kind of trying to tell the old man without telling the old man, if I need to call the floor, let's make sure it's about this guy here that nobody likes instead of you, who nobody really has a problem with. But the old man won't stop. He's, oh, yeah, we need to shut up. He kept saying that, shut up, shut up. And I'm going, this dude is living rent free in the old man's head at this point. And I mean, I'm kind of needling him, like, yeah, you get him, you know, or whatever. And eventually, somebody needs to stand up to this guy, whatever. And eventually, the old man goes, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna reach across this table and hit you with my walker. And I was like, oh my God, we actually had a threat of physical violence. I'm surprised the floor didn't get called over there. But this plays into part with the hand that we got involved with a week and a half later, because you've got to remember these things at the poker table. You got to try to remember what you've seen guys do, what they're capable of, when they get emotional, when they don't, whatever. Um, the older guy Walker was sitting in the 7 seat the other day, and I was sitting over in the 2 seat, so we're across the table from each other, right? And he comes over, he sits down and gets his chips out or whatever. And he immediately gets in a hand or two where he loses and he's getting a little upset. And you can hear him grumbling about his luck and whatever else at him. Oh, I just run bad or whatever. No, you play bad. But, you know, that aside, um, I get in a hand with him where I had check raised him a couple days before from 25. He bet 25. I check raised him to 75 or 80 because I thought he had a hand that he couldn't fold, he couldn't get rid of, and he folded. And I was like, okay. And then this hand, I had 10-8 offsuit. I was in a blind, I believe. I flopped the straight on Queen Jack 9 and led out probably. He calls or whatever. Turn was an ace. I figured that ace hits him, probably gives him 2 pair. I check. He bets 25. I raise to 70 or 75 or something like that. And he tanks and tanks and tanks and tanks and tanks, and he makes the call. And then when he makes the call, I push on the river, and he tanks and he folds. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't like great big bets unless he's really, really, really strong. So, and he's getting frustrated at the table that day. He's starting to get frustrated. He's like, I can't run well. I can't catch cards when I need to catch cards. I'm like, dude, you had pretty good cards. It's just mine were a little better there. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking that. Then this hand happens where we already know he can be upset. We already know he's getting upset. We know he's going to try to play the tough guy, and he's going to get in, he's going to get all animated, and he's going to not bully me around today. And eventually he's going to snap his wad, and he's going to punt that stack into the table. And we're just hoping that it's with us. And we also know that when we check raise him big, or when we raise him big, he's liable to get away from the hand. And if we don't do that, he'll probably call a smaller raise. So in this hand, we've made those adjustments. And this is the poorly played part. If you don't ever bet your draws, and if you don't ever, and I mean, play your draws aggressively, just like you would if you had top pair, top kicker, over pair, a set, something like that, because you've got equity with those draws. You've got a 30% chance of winning the hand if you don't get the guy to fold anyway. You might get him to fold, and you might not even need your heart or need your diamond to hit your hand. And that balances out, keeps your opponents guessing. You're not so easily readable as you are if you're this gentleman, right? So in this hand, we're against Walker. He's in the big blind, and it folds all the way around to us. And we're sitting in fact, I'll put the hand history up here now so you can follow along. But it folds all the way around to us. And we're pocket sixes in the hijack. And that's borderline openable or not, but I'm pretty aggressive. It's late position, don't have a lot of guys to get through. It's on the charts. It's pretty, decent starting hand. So boom, bump it up. Who knows? Might get lucky and flop a set. The guy to our left in the cutoff calls, recreational player. He's not really a threat at the table. And the old man called, not a threat. The old man calls from the big blind. 3 ways, $30 flop, and it comes out ace of jack, or ace of spades, jack of spades, 5 of clubs, or something like that. And everybody checks. I'm not going to bet into that. Flushing board, straightening board, ace high board with pocket sixes. I'm just going to take my showdown value, and if I get lucky, I hit my 2-outer on the turn. If not, in a 3-way pot, I'm just, now if it's heads up, I'm going to bet into the old man and see if he defends with anything. He's probably, but I can start sussing it out and maybe, get somewhere in that hand. But against 3 people, especially a recreational, I'm not really that worried about it. I don't think he's folding. But it checks around, $30 turn, 6 of diamonds. We hit our 2-outer. We hit it. We just drill our 2-outer, and now we know we probably have the best hand, barring that flush draw. So when the big blind old man, Walker, leads out for 20, bing, bing, instantly bells go off in our head. What can we raise to here? Because we know he's not doing it with spades. So if we raise too big, he'll probably fold. If we raise a decent amount, we'll probably capture that ace, and we'll probably make him think that maybe we're on the draw. So instead of raising to 65, 70, 75, which we will do next time when we are on that draw, right? Because he'll fold to that. And we're not going to do that this time when we want him to call. So we only raised to $50. And by raising to $50, he tanks and tanks. The recreational guy to my left folds, tanks, 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 tanks. And then, I guess I'll have to call. Sure. You were never thinking about folding, I guess. Bink, he puts in the call. I look at our stacks. His stack, it's a shove on the river regardless of what card is coming, because I know he doesn't have spades. I know he doesn't have spades. So when the river was a blank, I thought, well, he's going to check. I'm going to shove. He might fold, whatever. But if he's got that ace, or if God forbid he has ace jack, then he's going to call, and we're going to double up here, thanks to that lucky turn card. And instead, he shoves into us. I'm all in. I was like, whoa, okay, all right. 1 chip flick, we call, and he flips over ace king offsuit, and we flip over our 6s, and we're good. I thought he was going to flip the damn table over, and he's mad, and he's steaming, and he's whatever else. And the guy to my left, the recreational players from out of town, he goes, man, what is that guy's problem? I said, I don't know. And this is where I was joking around. I said, I don't know. I'm trying to now. See, I was not in the situation before, right? I was needling him along and whatever. I'm in the situation now. I'm trying to defuse it because I don't want you trying harder against me in the future. I don't want you, because even if you try harder and you're still not playing well, I don't want you playing better than you normally would. I want to keep it light. I want to keep it casual. I want to keep it fun and keep everything, just kind of not thinking that I'm trying or that I'm that good or anything either, because I want that fruit as low hanging as possible at my poker tables, because that's how you earn your money at a poker table. So getting people upset, getting people mad, getting people to try harder is not in your best interest, and you need to know that, now, so that you don't do that down the road. Be everybody's friend. Don't make enemies. So I'm trying to defuse the situation. I'm going, I don't know. I said, I thought we were friends. I mean, the last couple of weeks, it was the other guy. We were mad at the other guy. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to stop playing pots with you. You're getting one over on them. I'm like, oh, no, he's going to start trying. Right. And I said, I got lucky there. Hey, you're right. You got lucky. I'm like, I thought he was going to call me a whippersnapper or something like that. And I said, well, I said, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, the last thing that I want, and I said this with a smile on my face, is like, I just don't want you to threaten to hit me with your walker like you did that other guy. I said, because I believe you. I believe you. I think you will do it. And two or three guys around me start laughing or whatever. And he starts going, well, yeah, you're right about that. I was like, oh, we defused the situation. Not because I thought I was in any physical harm. I just don't like that tension at a poker table. And hopefully you don't either. But through all of this hand history and all of this story, hopefully you're seeing how other people's poor play leads to our exploitative play, whether we're raising smaller and betting smaller, or we know that they're not betting their draws, so we can even call off a big shove like that if the flush card does hit. We know he doesn't have it. So we're kind of trying to sit down and think about how we can navigate these places while keeping people playing at their worst instead of at their best. If that stuff appeals to you, then you need to be part of this channel. You need to subscribe. You need to like. You need to go support my guys at DFS Army and the Sharp app and build this community with us, because through our poor play and everybody else's poor play, I'm going to point that stuff out to you, and we're all going to get better because of it. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Poorly Played Poker. Hope you like it, and we'll see you the next time.